can't believe we're actually on an expedition to find the homeland of my ancestors. Ever since I told Lara the story of Himiko years ago, she's been hunting for its location. I never really gave it much thought. That any of this could actually be real history. My grandmother used to tell me the story like it was a memory. Many thousands of years ago, Queen Himiko ruled the land of Yamatai. The sun rose at Himiko's command, and she ruled everything its rays touched, from the mountains to the sea and beyond. But one day, Yamatai simply disappeared without a trace. Forgotten in time.
Just opened the 1996 Tomb Raider.
I don't like the sound of that.
I'm actually more familiar with that Tomb Raider than this one. I've played and beat this game twice. Hey, Dr. Tom Hunter. Any New Year's resolutions? I set last year's as something I could do. I failed it. You know, I think a good section of reason I failed it was COVID-19. We can go open that thing up now. Go back and do that. I'm probably going to set the same goal, honestly. Buy 12 new shirts and go to 12 different movies in the movie theaters. And I'm hoping that at some point COVID stops being COVID and allows movie theaters to be open. Because I feel like if I don't do that now, what'll end up happening is movie theaters will go out of business. Because I don't see movie theaters staying open in the next 5 years. You shat yourself because of COVID. It's down Laura's journal.
It is ancient, but these mechanisms. These are fascinating.
Yeah, Bailey stopped the stream. She used her nose to close the program.
Oh? They must be ritualistic.
This female image is particularly interesting.
I'd be more interested in the fact that we're fucking shipwrecked, Doctor.
Looks like it was made quite recently.
By those islanders, no doubt. Judging by the
I'm currently
wreckage,
playing through the reboot trilogy over the holidays, so I'm really happy to see you in love. I'm currently shouting myself. Take
Here's
care,
to an
homie.
awesome 2021 for you and your family, Jordy. I am currently playing through the reboot trilogy over the holidays, and I am really happy to see it get some love here currently. Unshadow myself. Take care and be well, homie.
I'll have to find
I really like this series.
Must be something around here we can use.
I beat Shadow of the Tomb Raider on the Dark Souls mode, where you only could save at bonfires on the first playthrough, and it was a pain in the fucking dick, honestly. Because there were certain sections where you had to figure out how to do things, and if you didn't, you'd get sent back. So like I had to replay through the areas quite a few times.
Darling, think before filing those papers. I've sunk the last of my fortune into this expedition, but it's all going to come back tenfold. If you divorce me now, you won't see a penny of it. You've been with me since I was nothing. You know what I'm capable of achieving. I haven't lost my touch. I'm just at a low point right now. Don't you see? I'm on to something here. Laura, you remember her, my young protege. She has real data to back up her theories, but she doesn't have my savvy. It's going to be my name on the discovery and my face in front of the cameras. If this all pans out, the show will be huge. If you want to leave me then, I promise I won't fight you, but please, just wait on it. I can't have this kind of publicity muddling my image. Please.
I actually own Angel of Darkness. Like, I was a huge Tomb Raider fan back when I was in middle school and such. Alright, so we need to get salvage to reinforce our little claw axe. So we just need to look around the environment and explore a little bit and grab salvage. Salvage is those little crates. It's to my left right there.
Back off!
Switch to DCS ranging.
Hey, lurking hoodlum.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Queen scratch on beating the surgery. Here's some coin to help you achieve. I don't know why you worry so much about my weight loss.
This'll work. Just need a bit more.
I think it's 50 that we actually need. I don't think the wolves are infinite. I think I just got a headshot on homeboy.
Right, that should do it. Let's see if I can fix this axe.
Remember correctly, there's a...
Right, that should do it.
Up there. Axe.
Laura's having a crisis of confidence, so for her sake, I'll keep up a happy face. But something about this expedition has been making me nervous. I have butterflies in my stomach. As we sail closer to the Dragon's Triangle, I'm starting to feel nauseous. And this isn't the excited kind of nerves. What the hell is wrong with me? I should be excited. This trip is going to be awesome. I just need to shake off this feeling. Maybe I can convince Lara to take a break and have a drink with me.
Yeah, I'm not even 400 pounds yet. Like, the thing is they look at me when I sit down and all my skin goes right, like a big cupcake. So it makes me look fucking gigantic. But you gotta understand, like, all my fat is on my waistline. Like, all 350 extra pounds of it is all on my waistline. So it makes me look ginormous. I'm actually not that big. Like, I don't have the wings no more. I don't, you know, there's a little bit everywhere else, but it's not much. Just with my body shaped.
Right, that should do it.
It's just people being insensitive pricks for the most part.
Another shrine. Who are they worshipping?
I guess it'd be Emiko. Would be my guess. Here's a book.
Whitman is such a drama queen. I can't believe the hissy fit he threw during the filler shoot. I mean, this is his job, right? It's not like he's offering anything to the actual research part of this expedition. Once we find Yamatai and the cameras are rolling, he'll calm down. He might be a total pain in the ass, but he knows how to work a scene. I just need to do my job and keep my cool. Lara doesn't know it, but I've been shooting footage of her too. I really want to make sure she gets the credit she deserves. And besides, she looks great on film. I think she's a natural. That's probably gonna drive Whitman out of his mind with jealousy. But by the time he finds out, we'll be enjoying the premiere in Telluride.
That's how you say it, Telluride? So it's the Kia Telluride? I always called it Telluride. Kia Telluride. Okay. There's another shrine over here. I'm wondering if it had some extra salvage. I think that those heal you because I didn't have any. This might be like a puzzle. A secret tomb nearby. I've been watching Alone lately. I just finished season 2 of Alone, and the person I thought that would win it was going to be Mike Lowe from Lewis, Colorado, but he tapped out early. He tapped out like 7 episodes in, and that kind of surprised me. Huh. I guess we can't get through there until we get fire arrows. David Smith on Dr. Phil. I don't know who that is, so I'm guessing. No, I don't really watch Dr. Phil regularly. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push forward in the story because I'm almost certain like these areas actually become daytime when you push forward a little bit more. I'm just going to run from these wolves because they seem to have respawned since we left the area. Let's go and upgrade our thingamabob. They leashing? Right. So we need 50. Good as gold there. So there's 2 of these things that we can actually open now. And that gives us the 50 salvage right back. So let's head back to the other camp. Grab that one. We gotta kill these wolves. We gotta kill these wolves. Alright. Whoopi's down. Whoopi is down. How long do you think I would survive on Alone? I mean, it really depends on what environment you're in. Like, honestly, like, if I could get a shelter build, right? I could probably do pretty well, mainly because I'm fat. Because like one of the big advantages I'd have going into something like that is I have a huge store of calories. Right, I wouldn't be able to do very much in the way of like hunting, fishing, and like creating all that shit. But I do have a huge amount of fat storage. Oh, David Smith. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He had like the personal trainers and stuff like that. I know who you're talking about now. Food's a psychological thing, man. If you put somebody in a room long enough and you regulate their eating habits, they'll lose weight. All up here. And like, the biggest problem I ran into with my weight loss surgery was I constantly had people harassing me about the surgery, and constantly, even when I was losing weight, they would constantly pick on me, stating that I wasn't losing weight, and that would fuck with me harder. The same thing with like walking 365. I was cool with walking 365 until like people like DJ Keemstar started like pretending I wasn't walking 2 miles and couldn't do basic fucking math and shit like that. You can blame others because it's others' actions that made me doubt myself. And my coping mechanism has always been
Let's do this, Doctor.
to eat.
Whenever you're ready.
Hey, Dr. Tom Hunter. Any plans for a New Year's Eve live stream? I doubt it. The wife will probably want to do something. Like, my hopes was that once I started getting down to a healthy weight, that it would motivate me to keep going. But like, you know,
Sure you're not channeling
the stress of like trolling, making money, people fucking with me on like a physical level. Like, you don't know what stress is until you have like people like sending your name into the IRS or trying to get you on the no-fly zone or sending hookers to your house and constantly having to worry about like your family getting harassed or attacked or having people show up in your yard like 5 deep while you're by yourself.
You sound like my father.
You know, you don't know if you don't know what you got to do to defend yourself.
If we don't live to tell it.
Because I lived alone for a good portion of this.
It is Himiko.
But look, the bowl, the candles. Why is she still being worshipped?
This island, it must have once been part of Yamatai. You were right, Laura.
The Lost Kingdom.
It's like finding Atlantis.
But this is real, Dr. Whitman. We're not standing on a myth.
We're standing on a gold mine.
Come, quickly. Your friends are hurt.
Yes, probably by them.
Get back.
They can't be trusted. You still have a gun.
I don't want any trouble.
No.
It does not come with the territory.
But I insist that afterwards you take us to whoever's in charge.
What are you doing?
Be quiet.
No!
I'm handling this.
No!
No! Please!
Get off!
Just go along with them, Laura. Do whatever they say.
Like, look at it this way. I'm primarily a Rainbow Six streamer. So let's compare myself to other Rainbow Six streamers. You have Macy J and like King George. They get people who want to be in their games and play against them and maybe like watch them and do stuff like that. But you don't have King George dealing with people trying to team kill him and like spam racist words in hopes they get his channel fucking demonetized or get banned or anything like that. Like, that's something they don't have to deal with.
Run them up! Don't you fucking move! Kill them all!
Don't make a sound.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Anything? I can't find keep looking.
There! Another one!
Oh, God.
All right, This group's got some fight. Gonna have to kill most of them. Too bad. Could use them. All right.
Yeah, this is the hardest difficulty. But the hardest difficulty in the first game is just hard.
What do you see?
Like, you still get health regain and all the other stuff. So it's not like extremely difficult.
No one escapes. Out! Вылезай! Но трать моего времени! I always find.
What you're about to see right here is something I didn't like with the game. Like, little spoiler alert, you're going to kill this guy, right? And it's going to be the first person that Laura kills canonically. Because this is a reboot of the series. So all the PlayStation games that don't exist in this timeline. But right after this happens, you just start slaughtering people. And like, she never comes back to like being the same reaction that's about to happen. Oh, hit her with the Mike Tyson. Oh, you only had one shot in it because the slide caught. Really? Like, they make this big show of this right here. Oh, she's ready to vomit and throw up and like, oh, what did I do? I killed somebody. Boo hoo 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 hoo. Now let's kill all his fucking friends. Like, honestly, this is how this shit rolls downhill. Like, I felt like they should have made that a different way. How do you switch weapons again? Right up. I don't have ammo for either one. I'm just saying, like, they should have made that scene not play out like she was disgusted in herself, like she can't believe what she just did, so being like a psychiatric break where it's like, you know, where like, this has to happen, I've overcome it, this is what we need to do. Well, she happens to find a magazine clip right here.
Another one. She went down over there. Is she dead?
Ooh, there's a clip for my heater. I got the heating element installed, bud.
Burn her out! You're gonna die in there!
Alright, so we got our stealth weapon back.
Hey! Hey, you find any more down there?
Use the bow to kill enemies silently. Hold the R2 to draw a ball that does extra charge shot that does extra damage.
See what he's got. Ball in. Head home. What's the same shit?
So what came in? Another tanker?
Nah. Looked like some kind of research ship.
Should be some good stuff then. What's going on down there? Everything okay?
Yep.
Lara, are you there?
Yes.
Did this game come out? I think this game came out before The Last of Us did.
Oh God, Roth, I'm in trouble. They're killing people.
What? Who?
Men. I don't know why. I had to kill some of them. I had no choice.
That can't have been easy.
I mean, she inherited her mansion. Let's be real here.
It was.
Croft Manor was built by her father.
Don't worry about them right now. You just do whatever it takes to get to me, Lara.
I'll try. The thing about nightmares is sooner or later you wake up. But there's no waking up from this place. Which means I'm really here. I'm really doing these things. No.
Excuse me.
Lara. Not now. It won't help.
Let's see. This game looks amazing for the time here. How dated the lightning texture is compared to Shadow.
Switch to DCS Ranger.
Randy, would you rather fistfight Tony Hawk or take a bath in Earthworm?
Told us to stay out. What? Why? I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I'd probably rather fistfight Tony Hawk.
We'll know more by tonight. There's a bloodbath down there. Vladimir's in charge. What'd you expect? He loves killing.
What's Father Matthias have to say about that?
Not a damn thing. The Russians have been...
I mean, there is a bow op, it's Capital. But what you want is like somebody with like explosive arrows
Make the rules, brother. Just follow along.
and act like a one-shot kill person. I know the game wants me to distract this guy, but I feel like if I shoot an arrow, he's going to spot me. Let's wait for him to move a little bit.
I need help!
I kind of felt like the game wasn't going to make the dude move at all. But that's why I did that. You know, shit happens. I know we're about to go into another stealth section anyway.
We better get back.
Hey, Big JD. Been around for about 3 years. Finally able to sub again. Appreciate the shit, homie.
kind of container.
GPS cache.
He's behind.
Let's see. I wonder if Tony Hawk tells chicks to suck his Tony cock. I mean, like, Tony Hawk is kind of old now. Like, he's got to be in, like, his late 40s, early 50s. If not more. So most likely have the youth advantage on him.
She's in here somewhere. Find her. Capture? Kill. Kill her! What was that? Quiet! Quiet! You two, check that side.
Mr. P. Stains. Would you rather fistfight Butterbean or get done for manslaughter after tripping Tony Hawk off a skateboard? I'd rather fight Butterbean than go to jail. I mean, like, well, especially now because like Butterbean is like on a cane right now. If I'm correct.
What the hell? What the fuck is going on here? There she is. Get behind something. Burn the whole place down.
Dude, I'm not a fighter at all. I don't know why you even coming at me with these questions. Not a fighter, never claimed to be a fighter.
When we washed up on this rock,
Would you rather Brock have the ability to speak or Bailey?
We couldn't build shelter, forage for food.
I can only.
We couldn't even move.
I think Rocco would have more intelligent
It was like some
conversation than
enormous
Bailey
hand
would.
was holding us down.
Bailey would be more like,
Just as the
"What you
storm
doing?
was
What you doing? How you doing?
finally
What are you doing? Are you ready? Can I eat? Can I have bacon?" That's how I expect Bailey to be talking. Whereas like Rocco would be more like,
He seemed to know us.
"Why are you
Our
bothering?"
names, where we were from.
I require kitty
He
treats.
spoke to
My
us
litter
in our
box
native
needs to be
language,
fixed. You're like
and
that,
we
you know.
listened. And as we listened,
Rocco's way more
he
chill.
told us the truth of this island. He offered us a choice: salvation or death. Some chose to defy him.
Dr. Tom Hunter.
And without
Are there any
hesitation,
games
he
or
killed
DLCs you're
them
looking forward
then
to in
and there.
2021? I don't really know of any that's coming out. Like I was looking forward to System Shock 3. I've heard nothing more of the game. There's also supposed to be a System Shock 1 remake. That shit is missing in action too.
I can do this.
Did I play the original System Shock? No. The first System Shock game, or the only System Shock game I played, was 2. Mr. P Stain. I'm down on Siege tonight. I might give it a try. Only gonna play Regulation though it looks fun.
I'm coming! Thank God you're
Skill-based
alive.
matchmaking, yeah. Skill-based matchmaking is rough.
God's got nothing to do with it. It's good to see you two go.
Sorry, they did a real number on your leg.
No, looks worse than it is.
Have you heard from any of the others?
What is the male version of Laura? Larry? That would be it?
Wait, what are you doing?
The wolves took my food pack. The transmitter from the lifeboat's in it. If we don't get that back, we're not getting off this bloody
I don't know if we're
island.
doing Siege today or
You
not.
need bandages, morphine, antiseptic.
Also in the pack.
Shit.
Exactly. Come here.
Lawrence? Yeah, that'd probably make more sense.
Oh.
Oh no. No, 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 no. No! No! Oh, don't do this to me, you northern bastard. Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right, Big J, DJ.
Thank God he's still alive.
I mean, like, I don't know what these wolves think they got, but I got a burner now, so I ain't really worried about them.
Oh God, what am I doing? Pack's up there somewhere.
Poor chickie. Occam's butter knife. What if YouTube days? One of the few streamers I chill and just chat with. I believe in you, homie. Glad you do. I certainly don't. Get yourself with a Occam's razor. Get yourself with. Do that just yet.
These ruins. Kamakura period. Was all this part of Yamatai?
After a fortnight, I was at last
What's your
granted an
favorite
audience
accent?
with Her Majesty, Himiko of Yamatai. I must confess, she is
Probably
unlike
Australian.
any woman I have ever encountered. Beautiful, yet
Laura, the Chick-fil-A employee.
calculating even.
All the Chick-fil-A employees I have are
Surrounds
either
herself
like
with her
young men or like women over the age of 40. This game is really dark. Like, it's a lot lighter on my other monitor, but like on my 4K monitor, it's dark.
Here goes.
I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4, and like I'm looking at all these skulls and shit. I'm like, oh, look at all this oil on the ground.
That's all.
Because you can take bones and with acid and purified water, you can create oil.
Got it. Okay. Got to get this back to Roth.
Like Liam Neeson in The fucking Gray right there. You guys see that movie, The Gray? I wouldn't seen that shit in theaters back in the day. So I'm watching this TV show called Alone, and you see these guys fall the fuck apart within like a couple months. Like most of them are like they've lost substantial amounts of weight, like 40, 50 pounds of weight and things like that nature. And it goes to show you that humans are really pack animals. Like we have this mentality of like, oh, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstrings and tie them up fucking tight. But, you know, the show alone highlights how, like, humans are clan animals. Like, we require multiple people to do the same things. Like for example, if you took somebody like Larry from, let me make this point, Larry from, like, season 2. Larry didn't want to give up. Like, he had the willpower to stay out there for a year if he needed to. But he wasn't getting enough calories in to constitute staying alive, right? Like he was just failing at that aspect. Like he had camped down. He just wasn't catching stuff, and he didn't have enough energy to constantly try to catch stuff to stay alive. But if you took Larry and added just one more person, right? Granted, you've doubled the amount of food that you have to catch, but you've also doubled the amount of energy that you have to catch that food. So, like, you could theoretically take the knowledge that Larry had, give it to a person that's brand new, knows nothing about it, and they could spend twice the amount of time catching fish. They could spend twice the amount of time collecting firewood. They could, you know, they could rotate the chores, and all of a sudden, that 2-month timeline where a human being generally is on wit's end turns into possibly several years. And then if you add more and more people, like say you have a group of 6, now as long as you have systems in place and you know what you're doing, you could live sustainably for 20, 30 years.
Right. Let's get you patched up.
To answer your question, BGT, is no. The number one killer of human beings in like medieval England was teeth. For hundreds of years, teeth was the number one killer of humans because you couldn't take care of your teeth. Your teeth would get infected. It'd be too painful to get out. People didn't know how to get teeth out, and they didn't have like things of that nature. So the teeth would get infected. The infection would spread into their blood. They would get blood poisoning, and they would die. All right. I mean, like let's also be real. Like in medieval England, you had the four I think favors they're called. Let me see. Let me get this right. Humors. They're called humors. The four humors. And like this was what medicine basically was forever. Like basically, doctors thought of like everything in is like a symmetrical like sphere, and this sphere was broke into like you had phlegm, bile, you had phlegm.
We better get that.
Bile, blood,
and they mostly come at night.
Something else.
Mostly.
There was two biles, it seems. There's blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile. So those were the four humors, right? And they were also set up in like seasons. Like phlegm was more of a winter thing. If you didn't have phlegm in the winter, that was something wrong. And all these had to stay in balance. That's why they had these things called like bloodletting. Like you'd had, like for example, Abraham Lincoln probably could have survived the gunshot to the back of his head at Ford's Theater, but the doctors took him home and they started draining more blood out of him. George Washington died of basically the same thing. He had a cold and doctors treated him by bloodletting him. Tons of people died from just strictly people bloodletting them because they felt like they had too much blood or too much bad blood. Or like some people thought that the common cold was carried through the blood, so they would try to get all the bad blood out. You know, this is how like medicine was for hundreds of years. So a lot of people died from having bad teeth or just bad medical science. Right, but like Abraham Lincoln didn't die in Ford's Theater. Like he actually was taken back and he was bloodletted. And during the bloodletting treatment, he died. Because like I've seen this documentaries talking about how Thomas Wilkes Booth hit him in the thickest part of the skull, and like if he was alive today, shot with that same pistol, they could have saved Abraham Lincoln's life with today's medicine. Because he got shot right here behind the ear, and that's where the thickest part of your skull's at. He might have been brain damaged, but they could have saved him. You know, you got to also understand, like, he shot him with what is effectively grape shot, which is like a big iron ball, and he shot him close range, right? So, like, it's not like he shot him with like a modern day steel tip bullet that is designed to destroy shit. Granted, grape shot fucks shit up. Let's not take away from this, but grape shot isn't as lethal as like standard bullets are today. John Wilkes Booth, I'm sorry. No, this is on PS. I'm playing on PS5 right now.
It's not bad.
Well, the whole part of streaming is interacting with chat. Like, the gameplay is just something secondary.
Late shift at the 9 Bells. Wolf's got nothing on a broken bottle.
I've seen a couple oversimplified videos of history.
You got it.
But like, I don't really, like, I remember like the French Revolution one.
So I assume the plan is to take that up to the radio tower.
Well, it should give us the best shot of broadcasting a strong signal in every direction. Look. Laura.
People survive gunshot wounds to the head all the time. A 22 caliber can be survivable. Glancing shots often don't kill either. Right. Like, people think headshots are 100% lethal. There's people that have been shot in the head with bullets that are considered lethal and survive.
You're a Croft.
It all depends on what part of the brain it hits.
I don't think I'm that kind of Croft.
Sure you are.
So it's like you can get shot in the head, it dig into your skull and bounce off and cause like swelling on the skull, and they can go in and cut that piece of skull out, let the swelling go down and reinsert it, and you're good.
Well, let's hope I'm a fast learner then.
Just.
But JFK's headshot was with a hunting round from a Sears and Roebuck catalog. Like the difference between like Abraham Lincoln's headshot and JFK's headshot, one was with like a very unsophisticated, very first like idea of like firearms. JFK got shot with like almost a modern day rifle bullet. And modern day rifle bullets for hunting are core locks. Core locks, basically, you have a bullet that's shaped like a bullet. It's like a tipped spear, and when it hits, its center part flattens out to that of the size of a quarter. I have a quarter right here. So like, you end up getting hit with a piece of metal this size versus the bullet staying intact. Full Metal Jacket bullets tend to stay intact. That's what they use in the military, and they do that so there's not a whole lot of damage to the body, and there's more chance that you can survive. Right? The idea is to quell the confrontation. You don't have to outright kill people. But hunting bullets are designed to kill. That's what they're designed for. So they core lock. So the bullet flattens out and does the most damage possible. That's why you have a really small entry hole and a really big exit hole. And if you watch the JFK video, you can see the back of his head just explode and his whole head flatten out. And that's because he got hit with a core locking bullet. FMJ isn't for armor piercing. FMJ, it can pierce armor to a certain degree, but Full Metal Jacket is what FMJ stands for. It means the bullet holds together, and that's the whole design for the Full Metal Jacket bullet, that it doesn't core lock. And they do that for certain reasons. No, every bullet is not Full Metal Jacket. Like a core locking bullet does technically have a metal jacket, but it's a really soft metal that's designed to give. I just gave you the reasons. Full Metal Jackets were designed for war. And the reason they were designed for war, to give people more of a chance to survive being shot. They happen to have the side effect of being able to penetrate certain thicknesses of steel. It makes no sense, but you got to look at it this way. Hiram Maxim created the machine gun, and the machine gun changed how battlefields worked. Up until 19, I think it's 1908. Let me look it up. It's the early 1900s. When did the machine gun invented? 1884, so I was wrong. So late 1800s, but they really didn't revolutionize warfare until World War I. That's when the machine gun became prevalent in the world, right? And Hiram Maxim created the machine gun, and the other people knocked off the machine gun. There's the Maxim machine gun, you had the Lewis machine gun, you had the Vickers machine gun. These were just different companies taking a patent license from Hiram Maxim and making different guns. And in a full-scale war, like there's rules of engagement, and one of those rules of engagement is people want their dead to come back looking so they can have funerals for them. You know, religion and other things like that. They're called Geneva. They're called like the Geneva Convention Rules of War. And part of that for using full metal jackets was that so there was more chance to survive, so medics could come get the people off the field, and there was more chance that you could have an open casket funeral. So if you got shot in the face with a full metal jacket, your face could be fixed up by the mortician or the undertaker, and you could have an open casket funeral for your family to bury you. Or if you get shot in the liver or something, a medic could come get you off the field. There used to be a rule of war that you're not allowed to shoot medics, and medics weren't allowed to carry guns. They were, after the battle was over, they could come grab people off the field and fix them. Because war wasn't about destroying the opponent, it was about winning battles to, you know, obtain land and things of that nature. But that's the thing. I don't know how we got on the idea of core locking bullets.
Thank God for us training.
I mean,
All those treks, all those climbs.
Again, like, you could also make the argument of like the 5.56 was created to be more lethal, but the reason the 5.56 was created to be more lethal per se was the fact that a lot of soldiers in the Vietnam War didn't trust the 5.56 round versus the 308 round, because you had a big changeover. Like, you're talking about people that came from the Korean War and World War II that shot the M1 Garand mainly, right? M1 Garand shot a 308 30 caliber round. It was a big round. It did a lot of damage. Very few people got up from it, right? So now they took this old standard battle rifle that was super dependable, and they replaced it with the M16. The M16 had all kinds of issues. Like, for example, people would jump down to prone and the magazine would fall out of it because it had really shitty springs. And one of the original things with the M16 is they said they never had it to be cleaned. Like, they were like this universal super weapon and they didn't even issue cleaning kits when they first gave the M16 out in Vietnam. And people the gun would like jam on them. People were getting mud in them. People were never cleaning them. They were backfiring. They had barrels blow up in their face, magazines drop out of them, and things like that. So, and people also didn't trust the lighter caliber bullet, because you had a bullet that looked like this versus a bullet that looked like this. And like, how am I supposed to protect myself? You're making me look. You're sending me out here with nothing. So what they did is they engineered the 5.56 round to not power through people and take huge chunks out of them, but to bounce around inside the human body. It's just what it does. It goes in. It could go into your shoulder, come out your stomach, tearing up muscle, internal organs, and that thing. And in that regard, yeah. But again, the 5.56 doesn't take big hunks out of you either, but it will kill the fuck out of you. And granted, some of this information might be a little shoddy, but I'm trying to do all this out of memory. Like, if I had time to prepare, I could make a good video presentation with the facts being 100% accurate. But like, again, like, I'm doing this off of memory on the spur while I'm streaming. So don't take everything for fact. Just use it as a guideline to possibly do your own research. Carmax, I can. But you got to tell me what the conspiracy theory is. I know what Easter Island is and why they do it with the Moyas. And I know why some of the Moyas are fucking like underground. But like, what's the conspiracy theory that you're alluding to? Hey, Rainbow Trout, thanks for the dollar bits. We did a chaos theories on the Easter Island Moyas.
Should we head back up to the bunker? Nah, let's wait out the storm. Got it! Stay. Damn it, shit! Help me out here! Firing the flag! Damn it! No!
It's fucked up there. Oh. Okay, didn't fuck up. I need to kick the brightness up. It was just way too dark. What was the chaos theory about? Is UFOs real? Do you think we'll get annually probed by them? No, I don't believe aliens have ever visited the Earth in general. I know that probably doesn't answer your question, but like, I just don't feel like aliens have ever really visited us. Much like miracles in the Bible, isn't it funny that sightings of Bigfoot, aliens, and things like that have gone down since the invention of like the cell phone, right? Like, I have a 4K camera right here. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 4K cameras on this phone right here. So it's at the point where it's like, if Bigfoot was to come across my path, I could videotape him in full HD at any given time, and most people could videotape him at any given time. But let's look at this in this caveat, right? Bigfoot sightings map images. We're gonna go over here to display capture. That over. All right, so here. This is everywhere Bigfoot has been sighted in the United States. Right? If you want to get technical, right? I'm gonna switch over something. All right. Here is a map of every IHOP in the United States. You notice they're almost the same, right? You got this versus that. You know why they're almost the same? And why every map that you'll ever look at will be somewhat close to being the same thing? It's because they're basically population maps. If you have people in a general given area, you're gonna have places to eat, and you're gonna have things that people claim they've seen. Right? So like you could do this with anything. You could be like sightings of the Ogopogo, right? Have you never seen anything paranormal? There's 2 instances in my life I thought I seen something paranormal. But I'm a rational, somewhat educated man. Right? So I know that the brain can play tricks on you. Like, for example, how many people here believe in mirages? I do. Like, mirages are usually heat-induced visions that your brain creates. Your brain is very susceptible to being delirious. Like if you have malaria or a high fever or something like that, you might see a dead person. You might feel like you're talking to somebody because your brain is cooking itself. So, like, and there's certain situations that people will just see things and think, wow, what the fuck is this? You ever notice the Chinese dragon? Right? The Chinese dragon is almost snake-like. It's got a long body with little baby wings on it, right? Like, do you know why the Chinese dragon looks like that? It's because the python is native to China, right? China, Burma, that general area of Asia has the python. Python is a huge fucking snake. And when people first seen these huge fucking snakes, they thought they were dragons. Right? Because you normally a little snake be like, ooh, here's a little bitty snake. And then you have this big, monstrous 18-foot thing. It's all people over-exaggerating what they're seeing. I'm not making that. I know Burma's a different location, but it's still...
Lara, are you there?
The python's Asian.
Reyes, did you find Sam?
We're still on her trail.
I'm going to try and send an SOS from an old radio tower up here. Any tips?
Hey, Lara. You're gonna need to find the communication.
No, there's no such thing as people being possessed. There's people... Like, it's just like people speaking in tongues. Right? Have you ever watched a video of somebody speaking in tongues? Like that, we had people speaking in tongues over Trump losing the election. The fucking videos be like, I'm gonna strike the clay pot with a big iron rod. I'm gonna strike the clay pot with a big iron rod. I'm gonna clear the house of the mouses. Hit him with a big iron rod. This is a fucking video, right? This is a fucking video. It's people wanting to be a part of something greater than themselves. Like, that's what this is. The same reason that pirates thought that the Kraken was going to come in and pull them down to Davy Jones' locker. We know the Kraken doesn't fucking exist, right? We know giant squid exist. Could a pirate see a giant squid and think, oh my lord, that's big enough to drag my ship under? Let me go back and drink rum and have scurvy and be like, oh my god, my gums are slowly going over the top of my teeth. My skin is oranging. I've eaten nothing but salted hardtack and drank seawater for the last fucking 6 months of my life, and I haven't really seen another human being. But let me tell you, matey, there was a squid. He was as big as a house. He could have took the whole ship under. This is how these things are created. They're created from delusion and people wanting to be grander than themselves. Demons don't exist. Possession doesn't exist. and aliens have never visited us. You know how I know aliens never visited us? Because they had Trump had already tweeted about that shit. Prove me wrong.
I'll let you know when I find it.
Prove me the fuck wrong.
Hey, wake up, we got an intruder. Down, grab her.
Please! You don't need to do this!
But people use that in the wrong way. That's on people. That doesn't mean that God doesn't exist, right? I mean, we don't have to get into this. But I look at religion as a whole as a tool of control. What is a way to create a huge group of people and make them act the way you want them to act?
Because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at
Religion.
night. Mostly.
I mean, like, honestly, how are you saying, like, let's get juicy. You just said Democrats thanks for $600 instead of 2,000s. The Democrat-run Congress passed the $200 bill legislation. The GOP-run Senate downvoted the $2,000 upgrade. So how are you blaming the Democrats for this? Please inform.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Telling you, Reyes, it's mechanical, not an electrical problem.
Now, Alex.
Right. Trump wanted $2,000 to go through, but the fact is, the way our government works in America is a triangle, right? You have the president sitting at the top with 50% of the power. Then you have Congress with 25% and the Senate with 25%. And all three have to agree for something to be passed.
This looks like it might be an electrical problem.
You think?
Oh, hello.
What I think is kept at Area 51.
Is this little
top
box,
secret
huh?
things like the Blackbird. Like the SR-71 was a plane that could fly really fast. I don't know how fast it could fly, but it was also a stealth plane. Like the stealth bomber, the B-2 stealth bomber was once at Area 51. Like it's just high. It's like high-end military aircraft that they don't want other people or other nations knowing about.
Probably electrical. From her father. Nice one.
So I was on the lock, right? Doing a spot of midnight fishing.
Hey, Grim. Time to button down the hatches.
I'd be right with you. So I was on the lock, right? And this thing comes looming at me. Looming out of the water it was. So I give it a old Glasgow kiss, you know. Gets you out of trouble 9 times out of 10, that does. Took me a week to sleep that night off. And I've not touched a drop since. See you at dinner, Sam.
All right, can we take B-roll, please? Thank you. Dr. James Whitman, filler 15, take 3, and action.
Okay, now take a firm grip and then slice him down the belly like this. Yeah, you got it.
I'm trying to avoid the religion debate because I know people want me to say stuff so they can clip it and send it to like my wife's family and stuff. But my wife's family knows I'm an atheist. They honestly do. The Bible has a lot of good things about it, right? Church has a lot of good things about it. Churches in my area take homeless people off the street, give them a place to stay, give them work, give them warm clothes. And homelessness pretty much isn't really that huge a factor in the South. mainly because of churches and charity work that they do. But there's also bad things about churches. And the bad things, in my opinion, outweigh the good
Switch
things.
to DCS ranging.
Right?
240, nominal to profile.
Like,
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
let's point a bad part of the Bible out. Like, for example, Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. How many of y'all familiar with Timothy chapter 2, verse 12? Like, this is one I bring up when I want to prove a point. Let me find the verse here. Verse.
Switch to DCS ranging.
Alright.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Hey, Rest, your thoughts on the architect of your destiny?
Your
Mr.
thoughts are the architect of your destiny, Mr. Wings. Wish you a great 2021.
The verse of Timothy chapter 2, verse 12 is, I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man. Rather, she is to remain quiet. Like, there's all kinds of things in the Bible that pretty much downplay women. The Bible promotes slavery. It promotes hierarchy of men's in a patriarch society. It's almost as if the Bible was wrote by a man to keep a man in charge, right? Different times, Wings. Right, you could say different times, but at the same time, you have religious groups that will go out there and say things from the Bible, such as like the anti-LGBT stuff, right? You know, such as like marriage is sacred and things of that nature, and use the Bible as a place to point. We go, look at that. The Bible says it, so we have to go by it, right?
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
I mean, like you could say like, well, a lot of the crazy stuff's in the Old Testament. Like, for example, like the Old Testament's like in Leviticus, it says that bird blood cures leprosy. Right? If you sacrifice a couple birds, you cure leprosy. But at the same time, like, there's all kinds of crazy shit in the Bible. Like, you know what the most common form of punishment in the Bible is? Death. Like, if you're a child and you talk back to your parents, death. You wear 2 types of fabrics, polyester and cotton, death. You think about another man's wife, death. Like everything about the Bible is about death. And the worst part about the Bible is the Bible also recognizes 30 plus other deities. Right? There's even a battle in the Bible where God, and we're using God in the term of the Christian Abrahamic God here, loses a battle against a military with heavy horse. Like, to me, the Bible as a whole is just too convenient of a tool of control to take it seriously. I agree. The media is a tool of control, but the media, the media is not out here. Well, I guess they are. I can't even say that.
Okay, Lara. Pull yourself together. They're counting on you.
Honestly, I don't think the aliens exist. Well, not exist in the terms of this. I think let me put it this way. I believe there's other things in outer space than just us, right? There's too many stars, there's too many planets, there's too much space for only us to be the one species that came out of the muck, right? I believe that in my heart that there are other races out there in the universe, right? Here's what I don't believe: that they visited us. Because let's say the closest planet to us is Sirius B. And when I'm saying this, I don't know anything about Sirius B other than it's the closest. Well, Sirius B is the closest star. But Sirius B has a planet on it. Let's say the planet that's on Sirius B is habitable. Let's just say the very closest one, right? So it's 26 light years away. The people on that planet will have the same problem we're having: the distance, right? It takes 26 years in the Gregorian calendar for light to travel from the sun to that other planet, right? And that's traveling at the speed of light, which we can't currently do. Why? Because of mass. To tell me that another race has risen so high in technology and they've managed not to kill themselves off over petty squabbles, right? Such as religion, war, land, whatever it might be. They have not created rivers of blood over portions of wood and oil, right? Let's say all that happened. They still have to deal with physics of this universe that are universal, right? Heavy elements, physics, gravity, inertia, all these things exist over there in that other galaxy as well. How do they overcome the distance liability? There's a couple caveats to this. They could be arsenic based and not carbon based, and they could age differently, right? You're gonna go see Chrome Abyss. You think Jordy's chatting shit? Like, what am I chatting shit about?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
How do all my shows know by actually reading something instead of watching a video? I don't remember where I get all my knowledge from. I mean, like, I generally cross-reference knowledge. I don't believe things on face value. But, like, I mean, like, my religious knowledge comes from reading the Bible. I've read the Bible probably 4 times in my life. The 34 years I've been alive. I listen to a lot of R and Raw. I listen to a lot of I've been to a lot of church sermons. I've listened to a lot of people breaking down like religious texts. There used to be back in the day a YouTube channel called the Bible Bros that they actually went through and read the Bible and talked about what the meaning was and like how this meaning came and how it was translated into like the King James version of the Bible from the Hebrew text and things of that nature. And like to try to get a better understanding of the story and all these other things. I mean, like, I've listened to a lot of different point of views, and I've formed my own opinion. But that's it. That's what it is. It's my own opinion. And it's why my worldview is what it is today, right? It's the same reason I don't fall trapped to things like InfoWars, right? Like, anybody that looks at the term InfoWars and thinks, like, man, this is the highest rated shit ever. To me, I look at them as gullible. Because, like, InfoWars doesn't hold up to scrutiny at all. Yeah, it's all been written, rewritten, and translated 100 times, and most of the accounts of Jesus was actually 400 years after the fact, right? Name a story that survived scrutiny for 400 years that wasn't written down and read in the original text, right? That's why people start writing books. Because at least then books will say the same thing the first time they write them. But even then, like people, like for example, InfoWars is fun as hell. My father, my father is a 100% conspiracy nut. Like 100%. I'll go sometimes and sit with him and talk to him about things, and it's I actually kind of enjoyable because he is so far down the right wing like nut job place. It's ridiculous. Like last time I spoke with my father, he was convinced that the Democrats had taken and did illegal voting, and that there was voter fraud running rampant, and there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of invalid votes that were pushed through to push Trump down, right? He believes this with every part of his heart. And my rebuttal to this was, if the Democrats were rigging votes, first off, Lindsey Graham would not have won re-election, and most definitely Mitch McConnell would not have got reelected, right? Those are like two of the top men on the hit list of like the Democratic hierarchy for the Democrats. Like why would those people win their elections and they just rig the presidency? Because the way our government works, you got to have power in all three to push things through. There's a lot of checks and balances along the way. Because if you have a Democratic president and you don't have control of everything else, you're going to get nothing done anyway. Am I happy Biden's going to be president? No. Am I happy Trump's not going to be president? Yes. I feel like Biden was the Democrat safe pick, right? But Democrat safe picks have blown up in their face all the time. The reason that Mitch McConnell won re-election was because the person running against Mitch McConnell was, one, a woman, two, had nothing that Kentucky people felt followed their base, right? Like the biggest things about what's her name? Check her name out real quick. I remember, let's see, who ran against Mitch McConnell 20 Amy McGrath, that's her name. Amy McGrath. The big thing about Amy was she threw 38 combat missions, and she was an airplane pilot. That's all she had. She was a military veteran, and she was a Democrat. Like, she didn't talk about Kentucky coal mining. She didn't talk about how her felt on abortion. She didn't relate to the Kentucky people at all. And to beat a place that's rural, that's deep-rooted Republican, and you have a D beside your name, you have to touch bases and help people on the core foundation of their life, right? You have to do that, right? Because I don't think Kentucky likes Mitch McConnell. What people like about Mitch McConnell in Kentucky is he's Republican. One, he's established Republican. Two, and he will not back down. Three, right? Like, he is going to stand up for anti-abortion. He's going to stand up for the morals that he was voted into office for. And he goes and proves this by turning down these $2,000 checks. I mean, it might hurt Kentucky, and might hurt a lot of people in Kentucky. Kentucky's a southern state, and it's most likely has a high poverty area, like all the other southern Republican states. Very poor, very low income. But at least they feel like they won, right? That's where people are at. Who do I think the next Republican leader could be? Honestly, like looking at everybody in the Republican Party currently, I feel like the only person that should be a next Republican leader is Marco Rubio. He's he's Latin, he's bilingual, he's smart, he's young, good looking, and he could very easily push the next generation of young Republicans into the spotlight, right? But that's not going to be the case. The next most likely Republican like nominee is either going to be Trump again or Ted Cruz or some mixture of those two people. I'm not. This is me, not me saying Marco Rubio is the greatest candidate ever, but I could see him being the face of the Republican Party going into 2024 or something like that. And I feel like he would be the best thing for the Republican Party because it pushes a lot of the things that people use against the Republican Party away. One, he'd be a Latin candidate. He would help. It'd help tremendously with like the Latin vote and the Latin population. He understands what minorities go through because he was in the minority himself. He is a good role model for minorities and other people, that kind of thing. I mean, but you could talk shit about Marco Rubio, but like, tell me what Ted Cruz was going to do for the United States. Like, honestly, Ted Cruz proves he's a bitch. Trump basically tried to link his father with the JFK assassination, and what Ted Cruz do? Get on the fucking phones and try to raise money to get Donald Trump into the White House again. I don't even like my father that much, but if Donald Trump wanted to talk shit about him, the last thing on this earth I would fucking do was try to raise money for that motherfucker. That's just my personal opinion. No, Nikki Haley has no shot. Nikki Haley was a terrible governor of South Carolina. Same thing with McMaster. He sucks ass too. So I think Biden will win the next Democratic elections. I don't think he's going to run for a second term. I mean, if I had to be a conspiracy theorist, Kamala Harris at some point will take over during his first term. Either be it medical reasons or something of that nature. And if that's the case, we're getting a Republican president in 2024. Because if Kamala Harris takes over for Biden, Kamala Harris is going to run unopposed on the Democratic side, and she will lose. She will lose big. And this could change, right? If Kamala Harris was to take over as president and kill it, like do a lot of things a lot of people like, that could change. But like as it sits right now, if Kamala Harris would run against, I don't know, 80-year-old Donald Trump, I don't know how old Donald Trump would be, probably like 78 or something like that in 2024. She would lose. She'd probably lose against Donald Trump Jr., right? Anybody with the Trump fucking name, she'd lose to. Camilla fucks Smith and what a skank. Thinking about doing an EcoBoost swap in my Civic. Got any insider info? Well, first off, you're an asshole. Take it off. Get the Civic Si. It's gonna have the same horsepower as like a 2.3 EcoBoost, and it's gonna be turbocharged as well. And you don't really have to do that much differently. You just got to change computers. The harness and everything will be about the same. What about Tom Cotton for president? Tom Cotton should be in jail. Honestly. Like this is not a Democrat Republican thing. When Barack Obama was doing the Iran nuclear deal, Tom Cotton authored a letter to the Ayatollah of Iran. I think his name is, I'm gonna fuck this up. Ahmadinejad. I can't say his fucking name. We're the leader of Iran, stating that there was an election year coming up, and if a Republican president gets elected in that election year, they won't honor the deal that Barack Obama is doing. To me, that's treason. That's treason on the level of what they want to lock or Edward Snowden up for. Came here for games, stay for politics. I don't know why they're not pardoning Snowden. Like, Snowden should be an American hero, not somebody that we want to throw in jail and possibly give the death sentence to. Dog, it takes millions of dollars to fucking run for president. And if I had millions of dollars handed to me to run for president, I'd be running a Ford Raptor instead of president. Come on now, let's be real here. I ain't trying to do that. Not right now, DJ. I'm probably going to shut the stream down here soon. It's supposed to be just a little quick 2-hour stream. Thoughts on the Hellcat Ram truck versus Raptor? I think the Ram Hellcat truck has too much horsepower. I know that's a fucking dumb thing to say. But, like, really, if you're in an off-road situation, how often do you get a chance to open up 700 horsepower worth of whoop ass on somebody? Like, really? Like it's... I think the Raptor was fine with the V8, the 6.2 liter V8. Perfectly fine. It did what it was designed to do. And I get that they wanted to go to the EcoBoost engine, the 3.5 with the huge turbos that's in the Ford GT, as like being like a halo truck. But like, you don't need much more than 460 horsepower for anything on off-road racing. That's not necessarily true, right? Have you ever noticed, I don't know if you live in the South, but things, we have these things called international harvesters here, right? And international harvesters have thousands of foot-pounds of torque. Let me look up the specs on these things. Let me find it. Well, I was just saying, horsepower does not equate to torque. For example, I used to run an overhead crane. That overhead crane had 25 horsepower. 25. That's how much horsepower it created. But it had torque through the roof. It was like, I don't even remember the number. It was in the thousands. And the reason was because all a crane does is it needs to create enough turning force to pick something up and hold it. Right? That's what torque is. Torque is how much force the wheel can do to turn. And like generally, like back in the day, trucks had very low horsepower numbers, but comparable torque, right? A 1993 F-150 would possibly put out like 170 horsepower, but it still put out like 340 foot-pounds of torque. Trucks in the early days were basically street legal tractors. And like different things are like tuned to do differently, right? I'm just saying, horsepower and torque doesn't have to scale accordingly. Like you don't need you can, like for example, the Cummins diesel engine is a V6, right? It doesn't put out very much horsepower at all, but it can tow 30,000 pounds. Why? Because it puts out a lot of torque. Most tractors are not street legal. Like there's certain rules in like rule books, like in South Carolina, that you're allowed to go from like point A to point B on side roads, but you're not allowed on main roads at all. But like tractors go like 5 miles an hour. I think the best ones can go to like 15. Thoughts on the new GMC Hummer? Too expensive. Too expensive. Mm-hmm. Thinks my tractor's sexy. But that's going to be it for me right now, boys. Thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks everybody for subscribing. Gained 8 subs this day. We had $76 worth of donations. Getting donations. Big ups to Father Tom, Peter Butler. Big ups to Dr. Tom Hunter. Thank you, Bress, for the $10. Thank you, Cheese Cutter Charlie, for charging back. Thank you, dude. Thanks everybody for the bits. Thank you, Randy Leahy, for the donations as well. We had tons of bits. Holy shit. Thank you, Randy Leahy, for almost $20 worth of bits. Thank you, Joey Cheese. Thank you, Lurking Hoodlum. Appreciate everybody for coming out. Thank you, Carmex. I'll see you guys later. I might not stream again today, but I will see you guys next year. We're probably going to do something tonight for New Year's Eve. Hope you guys have a wonderful and safe New Year's Eve. Don't go out to party if you can avoid it. Remember, COVID-19 is a real thing. And I hope to see you guys later. Peace, people.